The Finger Lakes Environmental Film Festival was started in 1997 as an outreach project by Cornell University's Center for the Environment. And now, these many years later, the festival has moved from Cornell to IC and become an event that, in the words of the festival, embraces and interrogates sustainability across all of its forms: economic, social, ecological, political, cultural, technological, and aesthetic. And here to talk about the festival, how it's changed over the years, and what we can expect from this year's iteration of the event are Tom Shevory and Patricia Zimmerman, the co-directors of the festival.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Samuel.
Just to get things started, I'm wondering if you could give us a little bit of the backstory for the festival. How did things really get started?
The festival was started in 1997 as part of an outreach program for a National Science Foundation grant, and it was housed at Cornell, but the first programmer of the festival was Chris Riley. Ithaca College was involved from the beginning because it was a festival that took environmental films and programmed them at about, depending on the year, 5 to 10 universities and colleges in the region. So Ithaca College was involved from year one, from the start, and was also, after NSF, a major presenting sponsor of the festival.
So we've been involved since the very beginning, actually.
Oh, excellent. Yeah. So you've been around since 1997.
Because Chris, got us on board, I guess, back in 1997. Is that? Wow.
Maybe just another clarifying question. I mean, it is the Finger Lakes Environmental Film Festival. How does that make this festival different than maybe other film or media festivals that people may have attended?
Well, I guess in some ways it makes it more political. We have a very expansive definition of environmental. It's not just, forest protection or recycling. It's very broadly defined in terms of all the parameters of sustainability, which includes human rights, inequality, women's rights, reproductive issues, war, conflict, just about anything that is connected in some way with a broader set of environmental issues that, shape global change.
Yeah, one thing I was thinking about, because one of our colleagues who works with us went to a conference and we had to write a paper about what do we do differently? And I was thinking that oftentimes when people think of the environment, they think of nature as being nature without people. And I think that what we try to explore and interrogate in some ways is putting people and all of their complexities and political struggles first in terms of how does that interact with many different kinds of environments. So instead of environment, I think our way of operating is more plural.
And I understand that this is a pretty large festival, and I'm wondering if you could kind of explain for us what actually it takes to put something like this on. I understand there are a lot of moving pieces, a lot of partners kind of in the local and in global community as well.
So first, maybe it's just some facts.
Okay, sure.
That I think might be really helpful for listeners. It is a very big festival, and out there in the world we're considered actually kind of a medium-sized festival. Mm-hmm. There are not a lot of human rights and environmental film festivals, so I think this is very important. This year we have 120 plus just separate events, 55 guests. We have 26 moderators of all of these events. So this is a very large festival, but I want to emphasize a key word for us, which is heterogeneity. We show film, we do installations, we do classical music concerts, we do silent film with live music, we have journalists, activists, lectures from scholars, film distributors, exhibitors, a very large range. And for us, heterogeneity defines the way one thinks environmentally, right? It's never just one linear strain. So there are many different aspects of this, and we take the word film to be a word to be exploded.
So is this kind of like the culmination of a year's worth of work? Is it one festival shuts down and you all move on to the next one?
That's exactly right.
That's exactly what it is.
Because as soon as the festival ends, we start thinking about the next year's theme. Mm-hmm. And this year's theme is dissonance, which is about conflict and discontinuity and change and disorder and things coming into different kinds of conflicts and but to create creativity and newness. And the idea of dissonance, it's like dissonant music in jazz. It might seem as though it's difficult at first, but it actually creates beauty if you listen to it carefully.
So what are some of the kind of particular events that people might be able to check out this year kind of in that dissonance theme, or maybe things that you're personally excited about, maybe lectures or showings or events that we might expect to see you at?
Maybe I'll address some of the events we're doing that are not just film events, because it might help people understand that what we do is really expansive. Monday at 3 o'clock in Park Auditorium, NPR journalist and Homeland's production producer Jonathan Miller is very well known in the radio world and a great innovator. Will be talking about the groundbreaking radio and transmedia series Food for 9 Billion, which is, of course, about food security issues around the globe. And it's not what you think. It's not going to tell you to only eat organic food. Tuesday night, we have our signature concert. We do a concert every year in the School of Music, and this year it is called American Dissonances. It's a concert with classical music by incredible virtuosos with projections in the back, and the projections this year we're partnering with the Internet Movie Archive and the Center for Home Movies. And it also has a very elaborate set design. And I would be remiss if I didn't say the musicians: Jairo Geronimo, Deb Martin on piano, Frank Campos trumpet, Nicholas Walker double bass, Wendy Meany flute. And the music is Gershwin, Bernstein, Copland, and Costello. So you'll hear the Star Spangled Banner like you've never heard it before. And you'll also hear some incredible Bernstein and Gershwin for 2 pianos.
Tom, how about you? What are you excited about?
Well,
for
I
this
thought
year?
I would just mention some of the events at Cinemapolis, because we have a partnership. We've had a long-running partnership with Ithaca's local independent film nonprofit theater. And so we're showing, 23 or 4 different films at Cinemapolis. But we also have lectures at Cinemapolis and other kinds of events as well. But Brett Brossard, who is the executive director there now, has been a great partner with us. He's really helped us out a lot. So we have films from all over the world for the schedule at Cinemapolis. And just to mention a couple of them, we have a film called Fire in the Blood, which is about corporate attempts to not distribute AIDS drugs in the third world. We have several films about China. We have a partnership with Degenerate Films, which is the largest distributor of Chinese independent films in the U.S. In other words, films that are banned in China. So we'll be showing 4 films in connection with that. One of them is about China's one-child policy. One of them is about the Cultural Revolution. One's about food in China. We have several Latin American films. We have a filmmaker coming who's got a film called Cartoneros. It's about the Argentine economic crisis. People were forced out into the streets, and they became cartoneros, or they became recyclers, basically. So we also have 2 live music and silent film events. Maybe, Patty, you want to say something about those?
Yes, if I could. We have for 10 years been producing, directing, and commissioning silent film with live music. And just in my other life, I'm a film historian, and I work with archives. And there's a huge issue about archival films, particularly from the silent era, and marginal films not having an audience. So we put that interest together with the fact that Ithaca College has a renowned school of music, and Ithaca has a music scene bursting with musicians. So we've always done these commissions of silent film live music. They are signature events for us. This year we're showing The Red Kimono, one of the very first films which was produced, directed, and written by women, very unusual in the film industry in 1925. And following our theme of dissonance, it's a feminist vigilante film, and the film was banned in the UK and many places in Europe, Mexico, and across the United States because the woman was a prostitute, kills a man, gets off, and ends up with a happy life. The music is by Fee Nunn and Friends, local jazz band, and there will be an introductory welcome performance by actress Cynthia Henderson. And also picking up on our dissonance theme, we're doing a sequence of films exploring Russia in the news right now, and we will be showing the landmark film on dissonance and dialectical montage, Battleship Potemkin, Sergei Eisenstein, And the music will be by Cloud Chamber Orchestra, Robbie Aceto, Chris White, Peter Dodge. They're very accomplished musicians, and that should be really exciting.
It's great to hear about all these events, and it does, as you kind of mentioned earlier, maybe what sets this festival apart from other film or media festivals is this is kind of a festival with maybe more of a message. It's a lot more political, you mentioned. So why would you say that putting that message out there, making this effort is important kind of in our local community and maybe in the larger community?
Well, we want to generate dialogue. We want to create communities around different kinds of topics. We want to support local art cinema, and we want to support the kinds of activists and scholars and artists that are involved with these issues. I think that's one piece of it.
Yeah, and I think the other piece of it is really simple. I actually teach a course on blogging with our interns, and I had them read books on film festivals. And one thing one of the interns said is, I get it now. I get it. A festival is not just about what's on the screen and what's on the stage. And she said, it's a 50-50 deal, isn't it, Dr. Z? It's 50% what's up there, and the other 50% is convening people in a public space for dialogues you couldn't get anywhere else. And I think she said it better than me, and I really think that is really our goal. I mean, we're not pushing an agenda. No. We're not telling people how to think about the environment.
We're trying to create dissonance.
We are trying to create dissonance. We like to get older people, younger people, feisty people and passive people, happy people and sad people all together in these public spaces to convene around dialogues of significance in the moment right now. I think there are very few places people can go to get off Twitter, get off Instagram, get off Facebook, get off their computer, and have face-to-face dialogues of issues of enormous significance in the globe today.
And if that's a dialogue that people want to participate in, where can they find out more information about the events happening?
Just Google FLEFF. FLEFF.
We're the first hit on Google.
Yes, I can attest to that personally. Well, that's great. So yeah, if the Finger Lakes Environmental Film Festival is something that you'd be interested in checking out, you've heard it straight from the co-directors. Google it, and you can find out more information. Again, I have been speaking with Tom Shevory and Patricia Zimmerman, who are both on staff at IC, and as I mentioned, the co-directors of the Finger Lakes Environmental Film Festival. Thank you both so much for stopping by this afternoon.
Thank you, Samuel.
Thank you, Samuel.